All right, so now we're going to talk about two price points. So basically how price relates to the different cost curves. And these price points are important in determining whether a firm will enter a market and whether they will leave a market. Okay, so the first one we call the break-even price, and the second we call the shutdown price. Okay, enter for the break-even, leave for the shutdown. Okay, and basically the break-even price is how your price relates to cost will determine whether you enter the market. Okay, so you're going to want to enter the market if you're making profits above normal levels. So if you're making positive economic profit. Okay, remember, normal profits are when economic profit equals zero. Accounting profits are just your revenues minus cost, where your costs are only explicit costs. And economic profit is when your revenue minus your explicit costs minus your opportunity cost is greater than zero. So if you're making positive economic profit, what you're saying is your revenue is greater than both your explicit cost and your opportunity cost. And think about what that means. So if your revenue is greater than your explicit and your opportunity cost, the opportunity cost portion is basically saying that the best of all your other choices is not better than the profit you'd be making in this industry, right? So what does that tell you? It tells you should enter that industry. So if you're making positive economic profit, your opportunity cost is lower than the profit you're receiving. Basically, it's lower than the profit you're receiving. So your profit from any other industry is lower than the profit in this industry. So you should definitely want to be in that industry. Okay. So any price above the break-even price, any price that yields positive economic profit, firms will want to enter. They'll want to say, this industry looks good. This is a good industry for me to be in. Okay. So there will be basically entry at any point above this threshold. Okay. Anything equal to the threshold is, perfectly stabilized market. Basically, it's like your long run equilibrium. Anything below it, well, firms won't want to enter, essentially, right? So if there's negative economic profit, what's that saying? It's saying that your opportunity cost is higher than your revenue minus your explicit cost. So what does that mean? It means that you have better choices elsewhere, so you should not go into that market. Okay. Then we're going to talk a little bit about, in a little bit, we're going to talk about what's called the shutdown price. So it's below the break-even price, and basically that's a point where if you're already in the market, does it make sense to exit? Okay. So break-even price, if the price is below break-even, it doesn't mean necessarily they're going to exit automatically, but it does mean that you're not going to enter. Okay, so there's a little bit of a distinction based on when you've paid your fixed cost to enter the market. But anyway, we'll talk about shutdown in a second. Break-even price, though, is the difference between do you enter or not enter the market. Okay, not do you enter or exit. It's do you enter or not enter. Okay. Okay, so should a firm enter? Well, you're going to want to enter if there's economic profit, aka if the profit, pi q, is greater than zero. Okay. All right, so let's turn to whiteboard. I'm going to walk you through some steps because I think it's easier to do this with whiteboard than the PowerPoint that I wrote. All righty. And I don't know if I said this, but these break-even and shutdown prices can apply to not just perfect competition. They'll apply to other things too. But it's most important in perfect competition. Okay. So we said that pi greater than 0 means that you're going to enter the market. Pi equal to 0 is your long run equilibrium. Pi less than 0 is do not enter. Okay. So if pi is greater than 0, what does that mean? So pi, your profit, is equal to total revenue minus total cost. Okay. Okay, what's total revenue? TRQ is your price times quantity. So I'm just going to rewrite that as variables. For perfect competition, price is just going to be P. For other industries, it'll be a function of Q. Right, your inverse demand function that we've seen 100 times in this course, where you have downward sloping demand. Anyway, so pi is equal to, pi equals to P times Q minus TCQ. All right, and we want to take the per quantity price or per quantity profit. Why do we want to do that? Because I know the answer to this question, and it pulls up some neat tricks that you'll see in a second. But you're not necessarily going to be able to see it immediately just looking at, you're not going to be able to see, oh, this is the next logical step, just jumping from this point to down. If you did want to see like that, like if you wanted a better explanation than just I've done this before and I know it, we're looking for a price, so we want some sort of P here, some relationship with P, so we will have to divide by quantity at some point. But the shorter answer is that I just know. Okay, so divide everything by quantity, so the Q's cancel out here. And then we have pi divided by Q equals, I want to explain TCQ divided by Q. What is that? That's your average total cost. That's the definition that we came up with earlier. So pi divided by Q equals P, Q minus your average total cost, Q. So pi divided by Q is greater than 0 if P, Q minus ATC over Q is greater than 0. We can say that pi is greater than 0 if, so Q is always positive. It's always going to be greater than or equal to 0. So we can say this. If price is greater than average total cost, enter. If price equals average total cost, break even. If price is less than 0, if P is less than average total cost. This is your do not enter. Okay. So we call average total cost, when your price is equal to average total cost, we call that your break-even price. Okay. So I've the steps a little bit different here, just like marginally different. I know that I bring back this Q for no reason. It's doing it one way or doing it the other. So you're going to enter as long as price is greater than average total cost. Okay. When price is less than average total cost, you're not going to enter. And then when price is equal to average total cost, that's like your long run break even price where you make normal profit. Okay. Okay. Firm profit at the average at the optimal quantity is going to just add in the Q stars back because these are functions of Q star. I don't have the Q star here because I was doing perfect competition, but for other forms of markets, you can add it back in. Perfectly fine. Except my handwriting is not perfectly fine, but that should be a Q star. You don't need it though. I kind of want to get rid of it because it's gross. Okay. The price, this price at which P equals equals ATC is called the break-even price because firms will make exactly zero profit, aka normal profit. Okay. So here we have the average total cost curve. Okay. And here we have another average total cost curve. And the price is here on this one and here on this one. Okay. So in this case, I don't know why I highlight them and then make it all gross. But in the first case, your price is above your average total cost. Okay. So by this break-even price rule, what do we know? We know that basically the firm is making positive profit, right? And we can see that on the graph. Price times quantity is your revenue. Okay, so A plus B is your revenue. Okay. Your average total cost times your quantity is going to be total cost, right? ATC is basically total cost of Q divided by Q. So if you multiply back quantity, you're going to get your cost, your total cost. So total revenue minus total cost is going to be A minus B. So your profit is going to be A. Okay. In this one, your total revenue is also going to be P times Q of C. Okay. I think I might have said total revenue is A before, but it's actually A plus B on this one here. But your P times Q is your C. Your cost is going to be your average total cost times your Q. That's your total cost. So that'll be D plus C. So your profit is going to be C minus D, which will be negative. Okay, so you're making your costs are higher than your profit. So if the price is above the average total cost, then firms can be profitable. Okay, firms make positive profit. Okay, so A plus B is your total revenue, B is your total cost, A is your economic profit. Okay, right graph C is revenue, D plus C is total cost, D is your negative economic profit. I think I said D minus C. It should be D. That's correct. Yeah. Sorry, I said earlier that it's D minus or C minus D, but it's just D is your economic profit, D plus C is your total cost, and C is your revenue. Okay. So this is the short run that we're looking at, and there's like this little minimum average total cost that comes back when we talk about the long run. I'm just going to preview it a little bit now. So in the long run, what's going to happen is that firms are going to enter, okay? And as firms enter, this price is going to drop, and it's going to drop, and it's going to drop, and it's going to drop. And eventually it's going to drop until it hits average total cost. But guess what? That's a firm's average total cost, right? Different firms are going to have different average total costs. It's going to keep dropping until it hits this minimum average total cost. So that's going to be your price in the long run. Okay. So as firms enter, right, imagine your industry level curve. Right, it's a normal demand curve. There's your normal supply. As firms enter, the supply of stuff in the market is going to increase. So the per firm, this is gross looking. Let me do this on whiteboard. Where'd it go? All right, so here's your short run. It's going to have a marginal cost, which is going to touch the average total cost at the average total cost is minimum. This is ATC, not ATL, as much as I love Atlanta. And you're going to have a price, which is going to be, in this case, we'll say that there's positive economic profit because it's above the shutdown point, or excuse me, the break-even point. So the economic profit will be when price is greater than average total costs. I just need that marginal revenue. So, sorry, the marginal revenue is equal to your P. So this is going to be your quantity. This is going to be the average total cost. So this here's your quantity star in this case, because your marginal revenue is equal to your marginal cost at this point. Ugh. Doesn't matter what software I'm using to draw in. I'm still bad at drawing. P equals MR. So at Q star, P equals MR equals MCQ. Okay, so Q star is here. Okay, ATC of Q star. I don't know why. So total revenue is going to be P Q star times Q star. I'm going to do X. P times Q. So that's P of Q star times Q star. Total cost. ATC of Q star. Wish there's like a dot or something. I guess I will just do X. ATC of Q star times Q star. Right, because TC of Q star divided by Q star. Times Q star TC. So your total cost, you just get back your total cost when you multiply average total cost by Q star. And your profit equals P of Q star times P of Q star. You can say minus average total cost of Q star. That whole thing times Q star. Okay. So that's my pi there, right there. Okay, that's your profit. So that's in the short run. Okay, in the long run, so this is the firm. In the long run, here's your demand. Here's your supply. Well, as firms enter, that's going to shift your supply out. It's going to decrease your price, right? So the price is going to drop. Right? And this point here which I want to distinguish from the highlighted point, is going to be your minimum average total cost, because it's where the marginal cost hits the average total cost, min ATC of Q. That's going to be your new long run price. Why? Because as the price drops, firms are going to start contracting their quantity. Okay, so basically price is dropping until firms have to compete in price as far as they possibly go because it's perfectly competitive. And if price were at any point above, like let's say price were here, it's still on the average total cost curve, but the well, if price, sorry, I want to explain this well. So see this marginal revenue price line, it's going to drop and it's going to drop and it's going to drop, right? If it's here, well, there's still like that sliver of economic profit, right? So if the price drops here, the average total cost is going to be here, right? So as this blue line falls down, the price is still going to be above the average total cost, meaning that there's going to be economic profit. So firms are going to continue to enter. They're going to continue to enter until price is minimized at the minimum average total cost. Okay. So as long as the price is above the minimum average total cost, there's going to be firms who can enter. Okay. Firms are only going to stop entering when the marginal revenue, which equals price, is also equal to marginal cost and is also equal to the minimum average total cost. And I'll explain it again towards the end of the slides. But in the long run, the price is going to tend towards this minimum average total cost. Notice that the quantity per firm is decreasing. So per firm, this Q star is going to go down here. So basically, more firms enter. So even though the overall supply is going to increase, the supply that each firm produces, the quantity that each firm produces is going to be lower. Okay. Firms will enter as long as price is greater than average total cost. Firms will either stop producing or exit while the price is less than average total cost, depending on how much lower it is than average total cost. Okay. So again, this firm entry will drive the long run average, price. But in the short run, firms can make a positive profit, and then firms will enter when there is positive profit, which is any price for any price point above the average total cost curve, there will be positive economic profit.